In the shadow of the hunter's moon, a vampire named Vincent roamed the land, a spectral figure cloaked in the darkness of centuries-old secrets. With an insatiable hunger for human blood, Vincent moved from town to town, leaving a trail of despair in his wake. His victims were always found drained of life, their faces frozen in a final expression of horror, a testament to the monster that hunted in the night. The small town of Eldridge Falls was Vincent's latest hunting ground. Nestled in a valley surrounded by dense woods, it was the perfect place for him to hide and feast. The townspeople, unaware of the danger that lurked in the shadows, continued their nightly routines, their sense of security as fragile as the setting sun. One fateful night, Vincent's hunger led him to Sarah, a woman walking home alone under the glow of the full moon. Her fate was sealed with a whisper in the dark, and by dawn, Eldridge Falls had lost one of its own. Her husband John found her lifeless body near the edge of the woods, her pale skin a stark contrast to the surrounding darkness. Devastated by grief and fueled by a burning desire for vengeance, John vowed to hunt down the creature that had stolen his love from him. He began his quest with a fervor that bordered on obsession, gathering tales of similar tragedies from neighboring towns. Each story was a piece of the puzzle, leading him closer to the monster he sought. John's investigation uncovered the legend of Vincent, a vampire cursed with eternal life and an unquenchable thirst for blood. Armed with this knowledge and an arsenal of weapons forged from silver and blessed by the local priest, John set out under the light of the next full moon, determined to end Vincent's reign of terror. The trail led John deep into the heart of the forest, where the line between predator and prey blurred. Vincent, sensing the presence of a hunter, welcomed the challenge, his centuries of survival instincts pitted against John's raw, unbridled rage. Their confrontation was inevitable, a clash of vengeance and survival that echoed through the woods. John, driven by the memory of Sarah's smile and the love they shared, fought with a ferocity that surprised Vincent. The vampire, accustomed to the fear and weakness of his victims, found himself facing a man who had nothing left to lose. In the end, it was a battle decided by a single moment of hesitation. Vincent, caught off guard by a photograph of Sarah that John carried, glimpsed the depth of human emotion and love, emotions he had long since forgotten. That moment of distraction allowed John to strike the fatal blow, a silver stake through the heart that silenced Vincent's dark heart forever. As the vampire's body turned to dust, carried away by the wind, John felt no triumph, only a profound sadness for all that had been lost. He returned to Eldridge Falls, a hero in the eyes of the townspeople, but a broken man whose heart remained in the woods with Sarah. The tale of John's vengeance spread far and wide, a story of love, loss, and the darkness that walks among us. Eldridge Falls, once a beacon of peace, became a place touched by the shadows, a reminder that monsters are real and they often wear the face of our deepest fears. And though John never left Eldridge Falls again, he spent his nights walking the edge of the woods, a guardian against the darkness, his eyes always searching for the flicker of shadows under the hunter's moon. John, now a sentinel against the night, lived with the weight of his grief and resolve mingling like fog over Eldridge Falls. Days melded into nights, each moonrise a reminder of his loss and the vengeance he had sworn. He patrolled the town's edges, where the forest's dark heart beat in sync with his own, a rhythm of haunting memories and a hunger for justice. Months passed, and whispers of a new terror began to stir. Another town, not unlike Eldridge Falls, suffered under the yoke of an unseen predator. John recognized the pattern of deaths, the telltale sign of a vampire's feast. With the news came a resurgence of purpose, a clarity that pierced his morning like sunlight through shadows. He set out as dusk bled into night, following the whispers and rumors that swirled like leaves in the wind. Each step took him deeper into the darkness, both within and without, until he reached the heart of the new nightmare. The town, a mirror of his own in its tranquility, was oblivious to the horror that walked among them. John moved through the streets like a ghost, his presence unnoticed, his focus singular and sharp. It was there, in the town's quiet cemetery, that he found the vampire. Not Vincent, but another of his kind, a creature of the night drawn to the isolation and vulnerability of small towns. She was ancient, her eyes reflecting the depth of centuries, her beauty a mask that veiled the monster within. John watched from the shadows as she moved among the gravestones, her form graceful yet predatory. He waited, patience honed by months of vigilance, until she sensed his presence. The air between them crackled with the electricity of imminent confrontation, a battle between hunter and hunted. She smiled, a gesture that chilled John's blood, not out of fear, but in recognition of the finality that awaited them both. With a speed born of desperation and rage, John attacked, wielding a stake carved from the heartwood of an ancient oak, a weapon imbued with prayers and his indomitable will. The fight was brutal and swift, a dance of death under the moon's indifferent gaze. John's training, his grief, and his rage gave him an edge, but the vampire's ancient cunning and thirst for blood made her a formidable opponent. In the end, it was a whisper that decided their fates. Sarah's voice, a memory that surged within John's heart at the moment of his greatest peril, guided his hand. The stake found its mark, piercing the vampire's heart with a precision that spoke of love's undying power. As the vampire's body crumbled into ash, the night seemed to hold its breath, then exhaled a sigh of relief. John stood alone among the gravestones, the weight of his actions heavy on his soul, yet lighter than it had been since Sarah's death. He returned to Eldridge Falls with the dawn, his mission complete, his heart still bearing the scars of loss, but now carrying a flicker of peace. The town welcomed him back, their gratitude a balm to his wounded spirit, but John knew his vigilance could never wane. The shadows might recede, and the night might grow less fearsome, but there would always be darkness at the edge of town waiting, and John, the hunter who walked between the worlds of light and shadow, would be there, watching, guarding, a reminder that love and loss could forge a warrior from the heart of a grieving man. Let us know what you thought of this story in the comments. Thank you for listening. Join us tomorrow at 9 a.m. EST for a new untold story. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more artificial apparitions.